views and opinions expressed in this program are those of the participants and do not necessarily reflect the views of BronxNet or the program underwriters.
And hello, welcome to Open, the show that opens the Bronx and the rest of the world right to you. I'm Daren Jaime. Today we're going to update you on what's happening in and around our borough. Coming up, we'll learn more about a free privacy and cybersecurity class at the New York Public Library. And afterwards, the Country Club Cleanup Committee is hosting a coastal cleanup event to protect the wildlife in Pelham Bay. We'll have more details on that a little bit later on. And then next, IncludeNYC is hosting its third annual Outdoors for Autism event here in our borough. Stick around to learn a little bit more about it. And then we're going to catch up with a victim of gun violence, turned motivational speaker and real estate broker with the story you just don't want to miss. Then we'll catch up with the pastor and organizer of an upcoming gathering for brotherhood, fellowship, and togetherness. And the writers of Bodegaverse, the satirical dark comedic web series set in a Bronx bodega, will join us right here on Open. So please, don't go anywhere. All this and much more is heading your way. Right now, we're officially open. And hello everyone, I'm Daren Jaime, and today is Wednesday, May 15th, and you're watching Open, a live program bringing the Bronx and New York City straight to you. We also want to welcome our viewers on Manhattan Neighborhood Network, as Open is being broadcast simultaneously on MNN's channels. Now you can stay connected to us via Twitter at BronxNet TV and on Facebook at Open BronxNet Television. Well, a lot has certainly been going on through the past week. We'll take you through a little of it with some Bronx updates right now. The Bronx is topping the charts once again, and this time not in a good way. When it comes to crime in New York City, it's reported precincts in the Bronx have the slowest response time. Now, this fact comes according to the latest Independent Budget Office report. The report states the average response time to crime scenes in the borough in 2018 was nearly 2 minutes longer than the citywide average. The average dispatch times in the 12 Bronx police precincts was more than 5.6 minutes compared to a citywide average of 3.8 minutes. Now, the 44th and 48th precincts had the slowest times across the city with 8 minutes and 7.7 minutes respectively. The borough with the fastest average dispatch time was Staten Island, an average of 2.62 minutes. Well, the Bronx Book Fair held at the Bronx Library Center aims to promote reading among the Bronx community. This year's theme was Our Children's Ourselves. BronxNet reporter Yesenia Ramos brings us our story.
I've always learned if you want to gain information and knowledge, open up a book.
And that's what the Bronx Book Fair is dedicated to do, while also promoting readership and connecting book lovers of all ages to Bronx authors at the Bronx Library Center. This year's theme is Our Children Ourselves. Executive Director Lorraine Corelli tells us something she didn't expect.
I didn't know, and it completely surprised me that so many children's authors would become involved, would reach out to the Bronx Book Fair asking could they come and participate. And I was, and I said, oh my gosh, we drew that kind of energy.
That kind of energy brought children's book author Evita Guirron to publish a book about a girl superhero who has curly hair, in hopes that other young girls can embrace and love their natural curly hair.
We need more children's books out there that will help inspire little girls to love their curls, to never let society tell them that curly hair is not professional.
Owner and founder of Boogie Down Books, Rebecca Schoaf, was also present with a wide range of options for children, teens, and families. She shares the same goal with other authors when it comes to having diversity in books.
We really focus on promoting work that is by and about people of color, and we believe really strongly that all children should have opportunities to read books that reflect their backgrounds and identities and experiences. We also love to feature books that are of local interest, so by and about folks from the Bronx.
Adults also had the chance to walk around and talk with authors about their book, like This Stops Today by Gwen Carr and 100 Letters from Me to You by Cheryl Taylor Smith.
It's a very relaxed atmosphere and just sort of gets you ready for whatever you want to move on to, actually getting a chance to talk to people. So I think it's interesting telling your story to other people to see how they appeal to your ideas.
Andy King said that so much information is trapped in books, and because of today's technology, how many people actually sit down and open a book? Kendra believes the community and authors gathered at the Bronx Book Fair are portraying a big message.
They're showing that literacy is power. And education is very important. So that is the message today. And just coming together as a community and healing together. So this is what it means to me, the Bronx Book Fair this year.
Reporting for BronxNet, Yesenia Ramos.
And thank you, Yesenia. Well, for the past 35 years, the not-for-profit organization IncludeNYC has been offering young people with disabilities and their families training, information, and guidance as they navigate special education and related services. And IncludeNYC will be hosting their third annual Outdoors for Autism event here in the Bronx soon. Joining us now to talk a little bit more and share some more information is Pana Poto, okay, got it right. Senior family educator, and Stephanie Ruiz, bilingual family educator at IncludeNYC. And welcome to the show.
Thank you.
Thank
Thanks
you.
for having us.
I know if I blew it off the top, it's not going to go well, but I got it. Thank you so much. So, IncludeNYC, obviously this is Autism Awareness Month, but IncludeNYC does a great job of working with those affected by autism. So for those who don't know about IncludeNYC, a little bit.
Great, yeah. So IncludeNYC is a source of information for young people with disabilities, of any disability, not only autism. We serve families with young children from birth to 26 years old. And what we do is we provide them with the knowledge, the confidence, and the skills they need to make informed decisions and to effectively navigate the different systems and services, and also to be able to advocate for themselves and for other young people.
And Parna, a little bit about your role.
So I'm a senior family educator at IncludeNYC. So I do a lot of guidance and coaching for parents who are trying to navigate special education systems and other systems that help their children find resources and support. And I also do a lot of trainings and workshops in the community. I'm also the parent of 2 children, one of which is on the autism spectrum.
So give me a little bit about the challenges the parents face, right? Because I think some of us are not really too familiar with some of those challenges. So walking through the door, what are some of the challenges that you find parents are faced with?
So I find a lot of times finding resources and just support, just knowing there's somebody out there who understands what you're going through. We have a lot of services in New York City, I have to say, but just navigating the system and knowing where to go for help can be very challenging for parents, and that's where IncludeNYC comes in. And then also, just there's a lot of stigma around disabilities and around autism and people actually understanding what it is. And I always say if you met one person with autism, you met one person with autism.
Autism is different all the way around.
Exactly.
I think we've heard that, on the show several times. Every case and every person is different.
Exactly. And I want to say one more thing.
Yeah, go ahead.
So I know you asked about challenges, but it's not all challenges. Our children can bring us a lot of joy as well. So I just want to make sure and put that out there.
Definitely. And being bilingual, the Spanish component, very big for you as well.
Yes, so we understand the barriers to asking for families to asking for help, not only the language is a barrier, but also like Pana had mentioned, the cultural stigma around disability, and also a big piece of it is the citizen status. So with that, Include had created a parallel brand called IncludeNYC, and we're focused on serving Spanish-speaking families here in the Bronx and northern Manhattan. So what we do is we are putting our efforts and coming to the community, meeting with the families at schools, community-based organizations, and we're trying to like really do it in their first language, Spanish. So yes, that's.
And you also have a very special event, third outdoor event for autism, and it's the Outdoors for Autism.
Yes. So Outdoors for Autism is sponsored by the New York City Council Autism Awareness Initiative, and we're very grateful for their support. And it's basically a day of sensory-friendly activities for children on the autism spectrum and their families. And we're very happy to have some partners, including IncludeNYC, that are going to come out and are going to provide a lot of fun activities for the children. Last year we had a few hundred families come out, so we're really looking forward to it. We're hoping it won't be too hot, but we're really looking forward to having a fun day.
Good weather at this point. Right?
Yeah. And one thing I wanted to say, one of the reasons we chose June is because, you know, April is Autism Awareness Month, and everything seems to happen in April. But autism awareness is 365 days of the year, not just April. So we wanted to have a fun event for families to be able to come out with their kids and just enjoy the day.
Yeah. Support system, right?
Exactly.
It's very big for parents to have support, and as you said, no cases, is germane to each other. So how do you deal with the support system, and as far as families are concerned? Do you find that a lot more families are really engaging?
So I like it.
So we have different workshops, because that's what we do. We go out to the different boroughs, not only in the Bronx, but and we provide different topics. And we try to really talk about the importance of having the support system and creating a support system. So we provide the skills and the strategies and steps for parents to create. Sometimes families here in New York City do not have extended family with them, so they need to find out other places that they could find the support system. So we have a parent support group, for example, in the city. That is good for parents to go. The people that come to our workshops and they meet each other and know that they're also like going through the same struggles. So that's also a place that they could do.
Yeah, and the support group actually meets the second Tuesday of every month, so they just had a meeting last night at our office. And really what I tell parents is, I know Stephanie mentioned some parents don't have family here. We really have to get creative with building our own support system, because you never know who you might meet and what kind of help they might be able to give you.
What does it mean for you being a parent?
As far as support?
Yeah.
Support is vital. That's the only way we can do this. I mean, and I find support at my son's school. There are other parents who can be a source of support. It makes me feel like I'm not alone. Yeah.
Very important. So for people who want to take part in the bilingual, what do they do?
So we have a helpline, right? It's totally free. All our services are totally free to the public. They can call us Monday through Thursday, and they will be assigned to speak to a professional in their first language. Although if it's not English or Spanish speaking in, let's say, another language, we also have a language line access where we can get the translation of what is the need of the parents. So the idea is for the parents to relate their needs, what is the struggle that they have, and we will provide them with the steps, a professional expert in that topic. So sometimes it's me, sometimes it's other professionals.
Right. Yeah. And so 3 years doing this outdoor event, obviously for you, what does it mean for both of you guys, I mean, and for IncludeNYC, to have the public come out? Because you get a whole lot of families. You said you got hundreds of families out there to do it.
Yeah. It really means a lot, because it's a place for all our families to come together, to meet each other, to have fun. Because a lot of times when families call us, it's because they're looking for information, they're looking for support, or something's gone wrong, and they need help navigating a system. So this is just one day for us to just have fun and forget all the challenges that we've been having and just get together and have a good time.
Well, thank you guys for coming and sharing a little bit about IncludeNYC, the great work that you're doing. And you got the third annual Outdoors for Autism event. And if you don't know, once again, it's taking place on Saturday, June the 1st from 11 to 2:30 at Mullally Park, located on 164th Street between River and Jerome Avenue. Now, if you want more information, all you have to do is go to the IncludeNYC.org website, and you can get all the information you need to get right there. Taking a quick break, we'll have more open coming up right after this.
So, I'm kind of new here, but I've noticed a trend. My human does this funny thing where she goes around and gets all my toys, and then she hides them in that basket by the door. But it's always the same basket, and it's always in the same place. And then she acts so surprised when I find them, but, she's putting them in the same basket. Again. It's like, hello? That's where you put it last time. You were the worst at hide and go seek.
I'll never forget the day our landlord called and said, read your lease. No pets allowed. My owner tells him my dog ate the lease, but that didn't work. And now I'm stuck in a shelter. But this pit bull is ready for a new crib. I'm loving, loyal, and play well with others. So don't be intimidated by all my muscles, because the biggest one I have is my heart. That's right, I said it.
And welcome back. At the age of 13, he was accidentally shot by a friend and survived. Today, he's a motivational speaker who spends his time inspiring others by doing what many think is impossible while being wheelchair-ridden. And joining us now in studio is Jeff Williams, motivational speaker. He's also a real estate broker. We welcome him to the show, and he's been featured in New York Times, Daily News, New York One, CNN, and right here on Open now. Good to have you, brother.
Pleasure.
How things going?
I'm great. Thank y'all for having me today. And the reason why I wanted to come and speak on BronxNet today was just to bring awareness to people with disabilities and just to change the mindset of what people think that people can't do because of a disability. And what I've done in my life is went against every obstacle and every challenge that I was faced with just to overcome this whole situation of you can't do this, you can't do that. And what I wanted people to know, not just for myself, but for other people that have this journey, because I think every day somebody can possibly become disabled. I became disabled at 13 years old, so I was at a young age in my life, but I never let it stop me. And people that have seen some of my accomplishments often ask, like, what drives you? What's the motivation behind you? When I first had the accident, my mother was that driving force. She didn't come to the hospital and feel sorry for me. She basically gave me that, tough love situation where if you got to be in a wheelchair, then you have to be the best person in the wheelchair.
Walk me back for a minute, because at the age 13, this happens, right?
Yes.
And you're accidentally shot by a friend. And so when you get the news that you're going to have to live in a wheelchair, what were your immediate thoughts?
I actually never realized that I was going to be in a wheelchair. I was shot, and because the bullet was still lodged in my spine, I was really believing that once I had the operation, they took the bullet out, I would walk out the hospital. The reality probably didn't hit me till maybe 3-4 months later, because I was in the hospital for 9 months. So the first 3 months, both of my lungs had collapsed, so I was really in a critical state. So at the beginning, it was more a fight for my life than, can I walk? So the focus was so much on stabilizing me and making sure I was going to survive. 3 months later, the doctor comes in and he tell my mother, my brother, he needs to speak to them in the hallway. The look on their face when they came back kind of gave me this indication that something was terribly wrong. At that moment, they tried to hide it from me, because I was so ill at the time that they didn't want to reveal the fact of what I really was being faced with. So I asked my brother, would he just tell me the truth of what the doctor said to him? And my brother was like, you really don't want to know what he said. And I said, I need to know. That's the only way I'm going to be able to go on. And at that moment, he told me that the doctor said you have a 1% chance to walk again. And I was so confused, and it really was no answer. It wasn't no pain of crying, because I really didn't know what to do. I was totally lost at that moment.
How's life changed for you now, living with a disability, living, via wheelchair? You're still able to do some great things, and also impact a lot of people.
Right now, what I focus my life on is changing other people's lives and making their life better, because the journey was so dark and things were so bad, trying to transition from this reality to what would my life become, that I just pretty much said, if I'm gonna be in this wheelchair, I have to master everything I'm doing 10 times harder. So if it's required, if there's a 1 or 2 requirement, I want to do 10 required.
Wow. And so in addition to doing motivational speaking, because you're speaking around the state, country, you're also a real estate broker.
Well, one of my friends, she's a lawyer. Her name is Kim Parker, and I would definitely give her the credit. She felt like, she became a real estate broker, and she said, I think you would be good being a real estate agent. And I don't really like to roll away from a challenge, so when she said that to me, I said, okay, I'll look into it. So I took my real estate class down on 34th Street. I passed the real estate test, and I became a real estate agent. And then I began showing apartments in the Bronx, and one of my first sales I did was at 675 Walton Avenue across from Cardinal Hayes, where I went to high school at.
I'm not going to hold that against you. Being a Rice, man.
Being a Rice, right.
Yeah.
So I ended up getting my first real estate sale, and one of the things that I remember my first day doing real estate and showing apartments, one of my clients came and they were standing in the lobby, and I was sitting there, and they said to the doorman, I'm here to see this apartment, and is did the broker get here yet? And is he running late? So he laughed at her and he said, no, he's right there. So she looked like, she seemed a little confused. I guess she'd never seen a real estate agent in a wheelchair, so she got past that real quick because I was pretty good at what I was doing, and I showed her the apartment. She ended up becoming my client. She purchased the apartment, and that was the beginning of my real estate career.
Awesome. The stigma of being in a wheelchair, right? People face that every day, and stereotypes, things of that nature. How do you overcome? What's the message that you try to send to people? Because there are certain people that, look, and just like the lady did right there,
Right.
She was really looking through you.
Well, one of the other challenges is if I go on a job interview, I'm not sure if I didn't get the job because I'm in a wheelchair or they just felt uncomfortable dealing with somebody in a wheelchair. So what I've tried to do in anything that I'm confronted with for the first time is just ask people to give me the opportunity based on my skills and what I can bring to the table, and not what I look like and what they physically see in front of me, because I think there are many people who have disabilities. I have a visible disability, and I think it's very important for people with hidden disabilities to self-identify, just so we can make this movement even bigger and bring more awareness so we can help other people around the world, just so they can have better lives also.
God, talk about those hidden disabilities at another time. Got to bring you back so we can talk a little bit more about that. But for people who want to get in touch with you, what do they do?
You can pick me up on Instagram, Jeff_Williams, the broker, or you can email me at jwilliamsrealestate@yahoo.com. And if you have a family member or anybody that you know that have a disability and they need some guidance, motivation, they can reach out to me as well, and I have no problem showing up wherever you are.
Well, you're an inspiration to me, my brother.
Pleasure.
And
Thank
to
you.
all of us here in the borough of the Bronx and to Open. Thanks so much
Thank
for
you.
coming.
Appreciate it.
All right, Jeff is here with us. As we said, you want to get to him, follow him on Instagram at JeffWilliams_ the broker. And don't go anywhere. Got more show coming right back in a few.
Maybe you can make retirement happen. After all, you made this vacation happen.
Double points with every purchase?
Cleverly merging promotions.
Love it.
Cross-referencing travel sites. And booking all your flights with those...
Vouchers. I got us bumped.
They were like, oh. But now they're like... Aloha. You aced this vacation. Now get the tips you need to get on track at aceyourretirement.org.
Patriotism. It inspires passionate debate, and it's worn like a badge of honor with good reason, because it means love and devotion for one's country. But what really makes up this country of ours? It's the people. To love America is to love all Americans. This year, patriotism shouldn't just be about pride of country. It should be about love, love beyond age, sexuality, disability, race, religion, and other labels. Because love has no labels.
Open up your books to page 360.
Did you just look at your phone while you was in class? You played yourself.
Talking about inspirational quotes.
You gotta believe in yourself. Don't ever play yourself. The key is to make it, so make it.
Louise, can you give me an example of an inspirational quote?
Don't play yourself. The key is to make it.
And who said that?
I did. Now that's a major key alert.
Learn the real major keys to getting to college at getschool.com.
The New York Public Library offers more than 93,000 programs annually, serving everyone from toddlers to teens and seniors. But there's an upcoming class titled Protecting Your Privacy and Security, covering the best practices of keeping your information safe online and your computer virus-free. Here now to share a little bit more information is Stephen Diolis, who is the Cybersecurity Technology Education Coordinator at the New York Public Library Science, Industry, and Business Library. Steve, good to have you.
It's a pleasure. Thank you for having me.
Everybody struggles with this. I mean, the issue of identity theft and really guarding yourself. And, you know, the frustration is that just when you think that you've conquered one thing, you got something, you got to worry about something else. So what are we doing here?
So yeah, that's a great point. Because technology evolves so fast, every day there's a new threat. There's things that you need to think about. So the best way to battle this is to keep yourself informed. And essentially that's what we're trying to do at the New York Public Library by offering these classes to make sure that patrons and New Yorkers in general understand what those threats are and ways that they could actually protect themselves.
So talk to us about what are some of the threats that are out there right now that people should know about.
Well, the easiest one is like phishing emails. So if you get an email saying, hey, you know, can you send us your bank account number or your password or any personally identifiable information, it's probably going to be a virus or they're trying to steal your information. Another thing that people tend to not pay attention to is using a flash drive that, you know, doesn't belong to you, or logging into weird Wi-Fi networks or something like that. Those are easy ways to find yourself caught up with either getting a virus or having your information actually stolen.
And it can just happen just in a matter of seconds.
It could happen in a matter of seconds, yeah.
And the recovery time on that, I mean, for the average person, when you go through something like this, sometimes, you know, you're stuck for days, months, and sometimes even years trying to recover.
Yeah, depending on what is happening, whether if it's you have a virus on your computer or whether or not you had your information stolen, just like you said, it could take a really long time to recover from that.
Give me a little bit about the New York Public Library, because it's a great partnership to really partner with the public in this area. I mean, most of the time we think about books, but, you know, this area of cybersecurity is very important.
Yeah. So yeah, that's another great point. A lot of times when people come to the library, they don't realize that we actually offer technology classes. So they're very surprised to actually see that. And they're even more surprised when they find out that we're offering over 90 different topics. Anything from coding, we do 3D printing, we do business classes, mentioned coding the classes and social media classes. So we have a variety of topics that people can attend to.
In this particular class, you talk about, you know, security checkup and really getting yourself up and where you need to be. What is a security checkup? Because everybody needs to have one, right?
Yeah, so security checkup is essentially just running a program on your computer to make sure that nothing malicious was installed either years back or a couple of days ago that hasn't really been activated yet. So it's really important to make sure that you run those security checkups to make sure that your system's still safe.
And the library, we got to talk about the library because it's, you know, it's the cornerstones of our community. But yet and still, libraries seem to have their challenges today. Give me a little bit about the library itself and really trying to preserve that great work that goes on there.
Yeah, sure. So one of the things that we're trying to make sure to do is keep up the library with the 21st century. So in addition to getting books, you could also take classes. We offer English classes, we offer business classes, we offer technology education classes. And so we want to make sure that we always stay modern and up to date in regards to what's happening out there in the world. So we try to advertise what's happening with those classes. We try to make sure that we get funding to keep the libraries up to date and to make sure that those services are offered as much as possible.
And we're talking now about protecting, our identity, protecting cybersecurity. These cybersecurity classes are actually going to be available at the New York Public Library, telling the public come on out and take part. Of course, they're free, right?
Oh yeah, they're 100% free. You just have to show up and you can just take the class.
Yeah. How long is the class?
The class is about 2 hours long. Usually there's, the first hour we do a lot of instruction, explaining things to patrons, and then we also go into like a lot of practice. So on our website, nypl.org/computers, there's a self-assessment quiz where you could actually take the information that you learned in the class, and so like one of the examples is you'll get a fake email and it'll say, hey, can you point out all the strange things in this email that might be a phishing attempt? And depending on where you click in the email, it'll essentially tell you if you are right or wrong based on the information that you learned in the class.
Yeah. Do you find things are getting worse?
I would say as technology keeps on evolving, things are getting worse, just in the sense that people are having a hard time keeping up to date with what the newest thing is. But like I said, coming to classes like this, reading about things in the news is the best way to combat against it.
Yeah, Steve, we'll make sure people take advantage of these classes at the New York Public Library. Once again, you want to emphasize they are
free.
Yeah. There you go. Stephen, thanks so much for coming to
you.
share with us. All right, now listen, the Protecting Your Privacy and Security class will be taking place today, that's May 15th, at 3:15 at the Science, Industry, and Business Library, located at 188 Madison Avenue, New York, New York, 10016. And for more information, you can visit nypl.org/computers, and you can get all the information that you need to know. Want to make sure that everybody's connected, especially during a time like this, where, as we said, people are out there, and it's important that you stay secure. So stay tuned. We got more show coming up. We'll be right back in a few.
Well, Thomas, you've got pre-diabetes. But with more exercise and a change in diet, it can be reversed.
I've tried exercising. It just makes me hungry for bacon.
I love bacon, too. And who really likes to exercise?
Not me.
Me neither.
Nobody. So we're good?
What? Oh, you still have pre-diabetes. Big time.
In an effort to protect wildlife and keep Pelham Bay clean, the Country Club Cleanup Committee has organized the Coastal Cleanup event. Now, here to tell us a little bit more is Karen Reed, the organizer of the Country Club Cleanup Committee. And Karen, good to have you.
Thank you so much.
Good to, hey, listen, thank you for coming and sharing with us. And obviously, trying to keep things clean is your main objective. Give us a little bit when it comes about the coastal cleanup.
So this is an issue that's really important to me. I don't know if people know about this, but in Pelham Bay Park and throughout certain areas of the Bronx, there's an incredible amount of diverse wildlife and marshlands. We have swans, ducks, egrets, turtles, all types of beautiful creatures. And I've been living in the Bronx for about 3 years. I'm a native New Yorker, and I have noticed an increase of debris, pollution, and plastics lining the coast, littering the parks, littering the sides of the highway, along the Bruckner, along the Hutch, and it's a serious issue. So my goal has been to bring awareness to this by reaching out to the City Council, Mark Jonash's office. I have reached out to the community boards. I have reached out to the borough president's office. And in response, I have gotten a lot of sort of passing of the buck, and I haven't gotten a lot of support. So I made it my cause to create a committee called the Country Club Cleanup Committee and host a special event on May 18th, and we're going to be meeting at 10 a.m. And what we're going to do is we're going to take matters into our own hands and protect the wildlife in Pelham Bay. That's where we're starting.
And when you talk about protected wildlife, I know that's really to the heart and to the core, but give me a little bit about, it's got to be a little frustrating somewhat, right? Because you're trying to reach out and all you're trying to do is better your community, but it seems as though like you're just not getting the inroads that you want to make.
So the frustration is that no one's taking responsibility for the sanitation and taking responsibility for these specific areas. It's difficult to determine who it belongs to. Does it belong to the condominiums? Does it belong to the homeowners? But really what it belongs to is the community in the Bronx. So we all have a responsibility for protecting this wildlife and taking care of the environment. It's not just about, you know, animals. It's about us. It's about our mental health, our peace of mind. It's about feeling good and having pride in where we live, and we're all here together in the Bronx. Right. You know, we go to college here, we have our families here, you know, all of us together. So it's a good volunteer opportunity as well.
So when you talk about engaging the community, obviously, what's been the community's response? Because I know that you're out there beating, and of course we'll talk about it here. We'll tell you how you can volunteer in a few minutes because we're going to let you, we want that to happen as well. What's been the community's response as you raise this issue of awareness?
The community is interested. The community is frustrated. I'm not the first person to bring up this issue. There's the Friends of Pelham Bay. There's some other small organizations that are attempting to make a dent into the massive amounts of debris, litter, pollution that is lining the coast. But I believe that people are ready for change, and it's not just starting in the Bronx. I'm watching hashtags coming up across the world, worldwide. People are fighting back against larger companies that are polluting and overusing single-use plastics. So I feel like it's starting small, but it's really reverberating into the larger issue of taking matters into our own hands.
Yeah, well, we got the plastic bag issue here. You got the styrofoam issue here. Do you get a sense that the progress is coming?
I'm extremely hopeful. I'm extremely hopeful. And I get a sense from small businesses that they're willing to post flyers about this. They're willing to put time and effort into making it known that these events are taking place and start local.
All right. Well, Karen Reed is from the Country Club Cleanup Committee. Want to let you know that you can join them and you can be a part of that. And so for people who want to do that, what's required?
So all you have to do is show up. We will provide the bags, the materials to clean up. We have an access point to the area in the coast. We're going to meet behind the Outlook Point condominiums, right by the Black Gate at 1400 Outlook Avenue. This Saturday, it's supposed to be beautiful weather, 10 a.m. Between 10 a.m. and 2 p.m. You can bring children, you can bring your teenagers who might need a chance to do civic engagement. Anyone who you feel would benefit from giving back, and yourself. Yeah. Come one, come all.
And I do understand that gloves and bags are going to be provided, right?
That's correct.
So you can make sure you don't have to worry about that. All you pretty much have to do is just come on out and show up. The issue of raising this awareness, obviously, is very precious to you. But when it comes to raising awareness of wildlife matters and really cleaning up the community, are we seeing more voices really coming to the forefront and really speaking out? Because if you don't raise the voice, sometimes it goes unheard and nothing happens.
That's correct. I think that we are. I've seen more about it on social media, but I have not seen it as much locally. But I know that people see the problem. Oftentimes they don't know what to do. So join me on Saturday.
Got to join Karen on Saturday. Karen, thanks so much for coming and sharing with us.
Thank you so much.
Great work you're doing.
Appreciate it.
And the Pelham Bay Coastal Cleanup event is taking place again on Saturday, May 18th, 10 to 2, 1400 Outlook Avenue, Bronx, New York, 10465. That's if you need a zip code. Now, for more information and to RSVP, all you have to do is email bronxcleanup@gmail.com. Once again, bronxcleanup@gmail.com. And don't go anywhere. Got more open coming up in a few.
For all the papas out there, let's stop what we're doing and take a moment. A moment to be with our kids. They can be loud moments, goofy moments, sporty moments, dorky moments, kooky moments. Moments when we talk or walk or just hang out. It doesn't really matter. They all count because every time dads take a moment to be with their kids, well, it's pretty momentous. So let's all take a moment to make a moment today.
Well, I want to introduce you to Bodegaverse. It is a comedic web series set in a Bronx bodega, following two store clerks in their desperate attempt to track down their boss's missing bodega cat. Now, the web series recently had a premiere at the new school, and here now to tell us more about Bodegaverse and their premiere are Karen Soloveda and Mamadou Njai, and thank you so much for coming and being with us.
Thank you. Yeah.
So you got this series going.
Yep. Yeah.
Tackling a bodega. So
Yes.
First of all, where does the concept come from?
Yeah,
Nah,
well,
you start.
See, I told you.
yeah, well, basically, we came together about a year or so ago, and we wanted to really write stories about, comedies in the POC lens and the person of color lens. So there are cult classics like Scott Pilgrim and Clerks that we're not represented in, like we support those movies, but we're not in those movies. So we wanted to write our version of that. And so I pitched to him writing a version of Clerks, and we wrote 5-episode series of it.
In like a week. It was like
Yeah.
really easy. Like we were just like,
Really?
there's so many things from the first drafts that made it to the end because we're just like, this is so random. And like, you don't get to see like, mostly when you see things in media for like people of color, it's just like very trauma based. It's about like bad things that have happened to them. But it's super like consequenceless.
Wacky, yeah.
Like, yeah. And yeah, she told me about the project. I was like, yeah, I would love to help you write this. And we sat down, got it done in a week. And then
A week?
Yeah, we wrote it down in like a week.
Yeah. I mean, we had like months of retouching and editing, but like most of what we wrote stayed in.
Yeah.
Just because we don't really get the opportunity to just like have dumb comedy. We want like dumb comedy.
Yeah.
So yeah, we wanted to present that out into the world.
Here we're seeing a little bit of a Bodegaverse right now, and the viewers are getting a chance to actually see. And so when you talk about the takeaway, what do you want people to take away?
I kind of want people to just have fun. Like, I just want people to just look at it and be like, oh, I've seen these types of people in bodegas. Oh, I think we always know about bodega cats and stuff like that. That is a very big part of it. I want people to just like sit back and relax. They're like not worried something bad's gonna happen. It's just like a very fun, joyride.
Yeah. Yeah, I feel like we really wanted to write something where no one's a villain and no one's a hero. Everyone is equally trash in this series. You know what
we
I
all
mean?
have our
Like,
own things going on.
Yeah.
everyone has their own situation. So it's a way for people to, relate to certain characters and see themselves in it, see the good, the bad, the ugly, you know what I mean? And not take themselves too seriously. Yeah.
And the cast. So you got a great cast working with you.
Yeah.
Where'd you get them?
Lots of our friends and people who are comedians in our little circle were like, hey, would you like to be in this? And a lot of them jumped to it. We're like, yo, we'd love to do this. And some people we had to go out to and audition to get them be in it. But for the most part, everyone's like, yeah, we'd love to be part of it.
Yeah.
So being seen now, as you said, it's a 5-episode web series. So if people want to watch it, what do they do?
Gotta wait. We already had a premiere. You gotta wait till end of June.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We'll publish it end of June, but definitely you can subscribe to our YouTube channel so you can stay in tune with what's coming out. We also have promo videos where we actually go to bodegas and interview like customers and owners about their experience working there. We interview some bodega cats,
Right.
I took that.
We got to get their perspective on things.
Right.
I understand them. I can speak to them.
You
so
can speak to them.
Exactly. Yeah. I know what's going on.
I got you. In doing this, obviously, there's a lot of fun. There's a lot of laughter, right? But you also get this great experience of understanding the bodega life, right?
Yeah.
So what is it maybe that you would convey to viewers about the bodega life that maybe We just don't know because we just go in there and buy what we got to buy and we're out.
Yeah, there's definitely a language. Like there's a New York language, right? If you're from New York or from the Bronx, borough to borough, it changes.
Yeah.
So I think there's a lot to learn with this series when watching it. Like, what's the language? What's bodega etiquette?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like,
Exactly.
what do you ask for? What don't you ask for? And what you keep your mouth shut and go to another place to get.
Right.
So a lot of this is kind of in a comedic way, teaching our viewers that maybe people who aren't from New York, maybe people who are also just enamored with the New York experience, want to come here one day but don't really know
how to navigate.
How to
through the
navigate,
Exactly.
yeah.
And I mean, we're the two clerks. We had to spend the entire day in there. We clearly have our own lives in there. Everyone who comes into a bodega, you come in, get your thing, you're out.
Right.
You don't really think about what's going on in there, but we go through what we have to deal with, like looking for this cat. We're out here trying to get it before this owner comes in. We're dealing with the same customer several times, like people's cards getting declined, like stuff like that. So we wanted to show that. And also, I'm not from New York, so instead of pretending that I am in the series, I just lean into that. It's like, I don't know how this works. Sometimes people come in, they start roasting you. I'm like, oh, I wasn't ready for all this. I just wanted to get you this bacon, egg, and cheese and be done. So that was something that we wanted to play with as well. We wanted to have the lens be both from within the Bronx, but also have people from outside be like, oh, I'm this character who doesn't fully know what he's doing. It's just trying to live his life on social media the entire day.
Yeah. But we also feel like this, although it's an inner city specific to the Bronx experience, I mean, this transcends. Inner cities in Toronto can, relate to this kind of lifestyle. People in London can relate to this kind of lifestyle. So it does go across different mediums for sure and cultures.
Yeah.
And talking about what's next in the works for you guys.
Bodegaverse wise?
Yeah.
Yeah, we're gonna put it out. We're gonna go through the festival circuit. We do want, to get picked up for either a second season or possibly a full half-hour season of this series. And then we also have our personal stuff that we're doing. I'm graduating grad school tomorrow. Literally.
Congratulations! All right.
Thank you.
Yes.
So I'm just trying to survive that.
And the premiere.
Yeah, I mean, the premiere, our little preview happened, but the premiere will happen in June. Late June, June 30th, we're looking at to publish it online.
We're looking forward for great things. And come on back, visit us.
Thank you, absolutely.
We'll be glad to have you.
Thanks for having us.
Oh, no, stay right here. We're glad to have you. Now, listen, to keep up with Karen Mamadou and Carter the Bodega Cat, visit Bodegaverse on all social media. Got more show coming back in a few. Be right back.
150 over 90.
180 over 111.
160 over 110. I had a stroke.
This is what high blood pressure looks like. You might not feel its symptoms, but the results from a stroke are far from invisible or silent. If you've come off your treatment plan, get back on it or talk with your doctor to create an exercise, diet, and medication plan that works for you. Go to loweryourhbp.org.
If I would have followed a treatment plan, I would not be in this situation.
How can I help my daughter with her reading?
Searching for help with Dachshund reading.
No.
Let me try. Sarah's bright, but when she's reading, she has trouble sounding out words.
Playing world music.
What?
I give up.
Wait, I was trying to show you how Sarah feels every day. Frustrating, isn't it? Redirecting to understood.org.
Join parents and experts at understood.org, a free online resource about learning and attention issues to help your child thrive.
You think getting dumped by text is harsh? Try getting dumped by a tennis ball. My ex-owner drove me out to the woods, yelled fetch, and by the time I brought the ball back, he was gone. Yeah, I was pissed. But the folks at the shelter helped me let go of my anger. I learned coping skills, like taking it to the hole. Boom! Now I'm ready to fetch again. But how about I throw and you run and get it?
Well, Thomas, you've got prediabetes. But with more exercise and a change in diet, it can be reversed.
I've tried exercising. It just makes me hungry for bacon.
I love bacon, too. And who really likes to exercise?
Not me.
Me neither.
Nobody. So we're good?
What? Oh, you still have prediabetes. Big time.
It is my firm belief that every man needs a man cave. And with the Knicks getting the 3rd lottery pick, we're going to need to go to that cave pretty often. Going to see how this goes. KD, Kyrie, listen. We need a man cave. But I want to talk about something else. Not a man cave, but a men cave. And D3 Ministries in the Bronx is presenting actually what's called the Men Cave Conference. It's a call for all men to gather together for a time of brotherhood, fellowship, and togetherness. And here sharing a little bit more about the upcoming event and D3 Ministries is Marcel Langhorn. He's the senior pastor of Dunamis Deliverance Discipleship Ministries. Try saying that 3 times. Dunamis Deliverance Discipleship Ministries. Good to have you, Pastor.
How are you?
How's everything going?
All is well.
I was talking about the Knicks and the man
I
cave.
know.
Man. I'm feeling a certain type way, man.
Right.
Are you a Knicks fan?
No.
Who's your team?
No one.
Oh, no one. Okay, well, pray for me. How about
Right,
that?
okay.
Okay. So you got a very special conference. So you're dealing with men, right?
Yes.
And you're taking a look at men and trying to really empower them. Why the conference?
Because I find that men are so inclusive and they are just isolated. Some of the issues that they have is that they're dealing with so many issues, but they don't want to be expressive about it. So the Man Cave is designed to gather men together so that they can come together in like minds and like issues, issues that they normally wouldn't be able to talk about with family members, with their significant other, and it gives them the opportunity to explore their inner self and to deal with the issues that plague them. So that's what the Man Cave is really about.
So guys will be coming together, and as they come together, it's time for brotherhood and togetherness. And talk about the togetherness, because sometimes I think as men, what's often been said is that we know how to get together, but we really don't know how to get together.
Yeah, so a lot of times we get together, but we don't talk.
Right.
And some of the issues is that men don't talk, and we want to get this conference together so that people can express themselves, have an area of vulnerability, but an area where there can be a transparent and a safe place for men to express their concerns, their ideas, their frustrations, so that they can be able to get those things resolved and be able to just tap into their purpose, to their drive, so why they're here, why they were created. So we designed that so that they can tap into, so we have workshops involved so they can deal with identity. Our conference this year is identity, dealing with the I am, dealing with us personally, knowing what God wants us to do and what God has orchestrated in our lives, and what is our purpose here on life. Because I find that when men don't know their purpose, then they don't have passion. And if they don't have passion, then they get depressed. And then other things lead to that. So we want to identify their purpose, identify what they are here to do so that they can implement that and be effective in our community.
And when we talk about the things that men are actually talking about, give a little clue, because I mean, sometimes we don't know what men are actually talking about behind closed doors, and it's not always, derogatory. They're real, they're real issues that men actually face. What are some of the things that you're hearing at the forefront of what men are saying?
Well, some of the things is that men are dealing with abandonment issues, with the absentee of the father or the absentee of the mother, dealing with those issues as they go for the frustration and the rage that comes out of that. Just dealing with issues with insecurity, not feeling good enough to accomplish these things. They have most of these men. They have purpose. They have goals. They want to open businesses, but their lack of ability to just relate to their emotions and just deal with those things that would plague them and stop them and prevent them from really exceeding and excelling in life. Some of the things that we want to have them confront, because oftentimes men don't want to confront their issues. They don't want to deal with the things, amen, that really they're not good at. They want to, they will pat them on the back about their accomplishment. Good job, you played a good ball game. But when it comes down to their real issues and the things that's on the inside of them, that becomes an issue. So we want to just cultivate those things that's on the inside of them and have them just become better men.
And June 1st is the day, right?
June 1st. June 1st is the day. It's going to be awesome. It's going to be right here in the Bronx at 1501 Jerome Avenue. And we just, it's going to be a great time. I think we're crossing all barriers. It's all men of all ethnic and socioeconomic endeavors. Our church is not really gearing it just for our community, our own church per se, but we're opening it up to anyone who desires to just want change and want to grow and just want to be productive in society.
So I want to make sure that people are getting connected now. Saturday, June the 1st. I'll give you the information before we close out the segment one more time. But for a brother out there that's watching or a man that's out there watching, tell them why it's important to be there.
It's important to be there because you need to know what is in you. And we're here to push out all of the purpose, all your desires, all the things that you have kept dormanted in your life and just stagnated, and there wasn't anyone to help you cultivate those things. So I believe that iron sharpens iron. I just believe that we can get together, glean together, talk together, cry together, and just grow in the things of God.
Well, definitely want to thank you, Pastor Marcel Langhorn.
Yes.
Thank you so much for coming and being with us. He is the senior pastor of Dunamis Deliverance Discipleship. And I want to let you know the Men Cave Conference will be taking place on Saturday, June the 1st again, from 3 to 9 at the New Settlement Community Center located at 1501 Jerome Avenue. Now, if you need more information, visit D3 Ministries. And if you want tickets, visit the Men Cave Conference.eventbrite.com. Well, we've come to the end of our show today. I want to thank all of our guests for joining us, and you, the viewer, for tuning in. Now, if you missed any part of today's show, you can catch the Recablecast at 5 and 10 p.m. on Optimum's Channel 67. If you don't have that and say, well, I got Verizon Files. Well, we're on Channel 33. Well, I don't have that. Well, guess what? We're on the web anytime at bronxnet.org. That about wraps it up for us here on the set of Open. I'm Daren Jaime. Make sure you keep this channel wide open, saying take care, God bless. We'll see you real soon.